Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah. Here for another late night session. Alhamdulillah. Um, we got 5 brothers in here. I think everybody's supposed to be here. But we're gonna get started and we'll just move a little slowly. I guess I could talk about some little class time, take about 5 minutes of it, man, let a couple more people, give them a little time to get in, right? So, well, alhamdulillah, man, it was one of the brothers in the community, man, that I be chopping it up with, man. I want to see him grow in the deen. So, I pulled him in one of the live classes today, where they got to sit with a minor scholar. They not a big scholar. They got a PhD in hadiths. Wallahi, this real talk. So him and his wife, man, they got to sit in one of the little classes and got to hear some stuff. I'm going through the class with them, like the whole course that he designed. I done taught it to like 11 people. I took it in 2019, 20, probably around COVID. It might have been 2021 when COVID was clearing up. No. Anyway, I took it like 2019, 2020. I done taught it to like 11 people. But I'm taking it again with them. I'm doing the homework and everything. They kind of revised it, added some little more detail, but it's an extremely basic Akida class. Like if you take your Shahada right now, you can start to take this Akida class. It's real beautiful, but alhamdulillah, they get to sit with the sheikh that put it together. Matter of fact, let me show this book. So alhamdulillah, I'm gonna show a book that he was talking about in the class today for the brother and them. So alhamdulillah, man, it was good to see him in it. He participated a little bit, answered a few questions. Alhamdulillah, and I want to see how he take to it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is an introduction into learning how to learn and what to do with the information once it's given to you. You know what I'm saying? Is you're gonna be quick to jump up and I done sat in the class and and possibly get to moving too fast, without getting you. And see, I like the way he doing it. See, he when I did the class, he just gave us the way he was doing it. Then you get lesson number 1, and then you do lesson number 1 on your own, and then you answer the questions. Then you turn it in, and then he grade it. And then if you pass, he give you lesson number 2, right? But so many people was taking it. It was too much for him to grade and do whatever. So like, he gave the whole set to me. Because I was doing 1 lesson a night, sometimes 2. I didn't even have to read the material. It was only like 1 I had to do some reading on, because I was already familiar with all of it, like even before, because I done studied Akida so long. So I was done like that. So he gave them all to me at once, and then I was passing them out, and as I was teaching them, because it was just basically like, you go ahead and do what you're going to do. And then eventually, he had a couple of people doing like that. So then he just put them all up. You know what I'm saying? After he wasn't grading them no more. So the problem with that was some people who did like lesson one, like it may took them 2 weeks to do a lesson, this and that. They probably only got like 1 or 2 lessons graded, and then they didn't get their knowledge checked. So by the way I did mine, all my stuff got graded. You know what I'm saying? That's even why he allowed me to teach it. Here, I'm gonna give you all that. Just take it all. You know what I'm saying? You already got it all, but here it was just one. It was like a book that come with it at the end. So that's the only thing he really had to send me. Cause like I said, you do one, they give them to you. But like I think when I got to lesson 6, he gave me all of them because I was finishing them so quick. But anyway, but it was like, yeah, you go ahead and do what you're gonna do with them. So I started teaching them, but all of my knowledge had been checked by him. It wasn't like I did them, answered them, and said, let me teach it, but nobody ever checked it or corrected. Okay. We almost got everybody in. We got 7. One more person coming. 2. Let me put that down. So some people, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. So like what he doing it now, so now alhamdulillah, after he revised it, I went and looked through it. Cause like even I told the brother, he's revising it, they're editing it, and once it's complete, I'm gonna send you one. So alhamdulillah, somebody ended up posting it in the class, so they got it. But now he's teaching it. You see what I'm saying? And then in the end, he's going over some of the Q&A with the people, and not the critical thinking question part. And it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad to see the brother in it. You know, and what I would love to see more, and hopefully me and him could continue to go over it weekly so I can help him sharpen it, because it's basic, but some of the stuff that I can add to it can bring it to an intermediate level to where there's more than what's in there, and then he can understand it better. Then he could teach it on the basic for sure, from knowledge, and not just from, not saying he would do this, but to where his information has been checked, and then he has a little bit more to go with it. Then he could teach it on the basic. You see what I'm saying? That's what I would love to see. So like even some of the books that he's talking about, I'm gonna show one that he's showing the class. All right, we got 9 people in here. We're gonna start in 1 second, man. Let me show this book real quick. I'm gonna pause this for the YouTube for 1 second for time, and then I'm gonna show y'all. One moment. Assalamu alaikum. Man, I think I done gave it away. If I didn't give it to the brother down the street, man, I think I gave it to my peoples, man. My cousin, man. I gave him so much books and different things. I think I gave it to them. Anyway, it's called Aqeedah Wasatiyah by Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, where it speaks about the names and attributes of Allah. So that's what the class was generally on, the names and attributes of Allah, and the misconceptions and the different views that people be putting out there. And I was glad the Sheikh was going through it. That's the section he choosing, because I was explaining to the brother with some of these translations of the Quran, where they have stuff like in the Arabic where it say face or hands. In the English, they'll change it and put like power or Allah's essence, just all type of different stuff. Yusuf Ali is one of those that do that. Yusuf Ali has some serious issues. But if you're just a basic reader of the Quran and you don't really just like, okay, I'm gonna read the Quran and I'm gonna look at this and I can put it into practice. You just like to read your Quran and hey, I'm just me. I got my own relationship with Allah. As a matter of fact, like I went through certain classes. So like, I take certain classes where where they where the actual Qurans, like different translations, where we go through them. Yusuf Ali has a lot of Aqidah issues. Yeah, it do. You might even be able to find some videos, man, especially the older versions. Some of the newer translations ain't that bad, but I used to have like the Ramadan sets where it's 30 individual books, but Yusuf Ali used to be the only one to sell them. So for Ramadan, I would read them. Like you just take one book per day, a little pocket size, and I would read them during Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? But I gave all them away too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I done went through certain different translations, man. Sahih International, Clear Quran. I didn't do one for the Noble, but I did one with the Clear Quran, Sahih International, and what was he called, man? I can't think of the name of it. Something like Glorious Quran, something, but it was a while ago. But anyway, let's get started, man. We got the brothers in here. So, what we talking about is the questions and the punishments in the grave. Now, right here, you'll see where I had this word, the barzakh. So, some of these punishments, all of them isn't necessarily in the grave. Some of them is actually when you get to the hellfire. And may Allah Azza wa Jal protect us all from that. So this is a very serious matter because some people don't believe in some of it. Like I know Muslims. Some people don't understand the magnitude of the questions in the grave. So this is an extremely important issue. The questions and the punishments in the grave. A little bit on why we get punished. Let's just get to it. So up here, because for me it's a little glare, so I'm gonna say a little bit out so that y'all can, get that writer's cramp. So right here, the questions and punishments in the grave. Right here, why, the reasons, right? You got your general reasons, number one. Time for Tahajjud, Qiyam al-Layl, alhamdulillah. So one, general reasons for the punishment. Two, specific and detailed reasons. So on this side, you'll see where I got just a number one. That means the general reasons. So number two, specific and detailed punishments. Okay? So up under here, under questions and punishments in the grave, I got right here, it's called the reality. The reality. Because some people refer to that grave as the reality because that's when you're going to finally realize that you should have practiced Islam the way that you were supposed to. Because once everything kick in, it's going to be extremely real for you. You know what I'm saying? Game time is over. There's no coming back. There's no getting it right. And this is one thing, I'm going to put this in as a side note. This is why some of you should start to involve yourself in Sadaqah Jariyah. which is sadaqah that benefits you in the grave. You know what I'm saying? Like Uthman, may Allah be pleased with him, right? The Khalifa, from some date trees and some land that he owned, he turned that over to the Muslim estates. I think this was in like 2015 maybe. Anyway, from them date farms and them date trees over the years, the money that they took from this man and running this estate, they took money and started building hotels, right? And in 2015, I can't think of the year, but anyway, the actual account of money that was saved and set up in the account was $50 million. So all of that is going to benefit him in his grave. So once he passed away, the people who ate from them date trees, the people who took dates from it and planted the seeds and grew date trees, he benefits from all of that in the grave. Now perhaps if you in a situation where your affair isn't the best with Allah Azza wa Jal, you can have some deeds that's continuing to be done in your name that might raise your state with Allah Azza wa Jal. As long as you did these things with sincerity. I mean, just imagine that. We just talking about the 50,000 that was 50 million that was raised in the account. But this is saved up. The money from the hotels that they had, and they was finna invest some of the 50 million into building some more around there. It was paying people to work there. People get to live there and come stay there and go on hides, feed them. All this stuff he gets benefits from. So Sadaqah Jariyah, right? So like I said, the reality. Because that's when you gonna know that you should have feared Allah Azza wa Jal for real. So, one of the general reasons why a person gets punished by Allah in the grave, in the barzakh, in the hellfire, number one reason is ignorance of Allah. So that's why learning the names and attributes of Allah is important, because one, it lets you know exactly who Allah is. See, some of us just feel like Allah created us, right? And Allah is going to judge us, but then you have people who put limitations on Allah. They say Allah can't move. They say Allah can't see. They say Allah can't hear. If Allah telling you that He's all seeing and all knowing, Allah hears everything, right? And then you say that's not true, you basically arguing with Allah. And then some of them come up with certain points. You're refuting what Allah Azza wa Jal said about Himself in the Quran. If you're not careful. And then you teach these things to other people, you're extremely ignorant of Allah Azza wa Jal. Extremely. And these things can lead to punishments, not only in this life, but in the grave and in the hellfire. So number two is ignoring the commandments of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah could say, stop dealing with intoxicants. We'll ignore that. Allah could say, stop committing zina. Allah actually say, don't go near zina. Don't even go near zina. It's a fitna for some of us. Some of us, we ignore that. And then disobedience to Allah. That still kind of go along with ignoring But disobedience can fall into certain things because I'm just not going to obey Allah's commandments. It ain't that I'm ignoring them. I'm just not going to obey them. You see what I'm saying? See how you can see the difference in that? These things lead to punishment, man. Who wants to be punished? Especially by Allah Azza wa Jal. So when you go to the major sins and the minor sins, as y'all can see how we're moving forward with a subject matter. And this is still tying into our Aqidah section of dealing with the angels, because how is the angels involved in all this? They're going to write this down. They're going to write down what you're doing, good and the bad. Munkar and Nakir, two angels that's going to punish you severely. May Allah protect us all from that. And then when you can keep the angels around you, they help you and protect your deen. They protect you from harm. They protect you from the jinns. They protect you from the shaitans. So that you don't fall into being disobedient. You won't end up ignoring the commandments. You're going to do what you got to do so that you're not ignorant of Allah Azza wa Jal. So number 2, now these is very serious. So number 1, I almost wanted to say the Arabic, but we gonna try our best to keep it all in English so that people can get a clear understanding. Tail carrying with malicious intent. Tail carrying involves making up stories, right? But it's for the intent to cause harm between Muslims instead of rectifying affairs. Now, there's a difference between warning, because warning comes from the deen, right? There's a difference between refuting, because refutations is from the deen. So, tail carrying. And there's a major punishment in the grave for tail carrying. So like 1, which I got it as A and B, I'm going to put that right there. And put in the grave. These 2, major punishment in the grave. So tail carrying, let's say you meet a Muslim sister. This for the brothers. You meet a Muslim sister. And when it comes to marriage, there's some investigation that should go on in this day and time. Because generally people don't know each other. So you go ask a couple of brothers, or like as a wakil, you go ask a couple of brothers, y'all know the sister? You know this your cousin, this your auntie? What's up with her, man? You know, I got a brother he interested in her. You know, it's been made clear to us that they feel like he's a good brother for her, but is she a good sister for him? Now let's say she is a good sister. Let's say she's an excellent sister. And then they say stuff like, nah, man, she this, she that. But they lying. Or they may be telling the truth, but she's 30 years old, and this is some things that she did when she was 14 years old, and doesn't still have that same behavior. Now, she did do this stuff when she was 14, 15 years old, and she does still have the same behavior. Yeah, that needs to be brought to the forefront. But they lying for the purposes of making sure that she don't get to marry this brother, because for whatever reason they have some issues with her and they don't want to see her married. You understand? These things could fall into tail carrying. Because it has malicious intent. Things like you have two friends, and then you don't want. I see this happen a lot with sisters. I'm starting to see it happen with brothers, and it's real strange to me. But you have like two sisters, and all of them might be in a study group, but one of them feel like this my best friend, and y'all just meeting, but they fear you're gonna steal their best friend from them. So you come tell them some stuff like, well, the sister says she don't want to study with nobody but me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only person she want to study with. But the sister never told her nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to maliciously draw a wedge in between. She wants you to feel some type of way. And then she's hoping that you say something like, oh, well, I don't want to study with her no way. And then so she can go back and say, the sister talking about she don't want to study with you no way, but not going to tell you what she said that made you say that. You know what I'm saying? Or come up to you and say, did you have a problem with such and such? Did something go on that I missed? Hoping you say something so they can go say, man, such and such said they were feeling a little way and this, that, and the third, to put a wedge in between. Malicious intent. So that they don't lose their best friend. These things fall under tail carrying. And there's serious actions in the grave. So this is just a couple of examples. But y'all understand tail carrying with malicious intent, right? Not as in like, hey, the people that you dealing with, what you got going on, they fooling you. And you wasting a lot of time and energy with them because you don't understand their character, right? You gonna get wrapped up in this, and this. They done did this to this one, they do this to this one, they do this to this one, and they don't even practice Islam. We gon', for them, we're gonna touch it on another video. Because certain people want to call certain things backbiting because they understand a general bit of some basis of backbiting, but they don't understand the hadiths of things on the four that there is no backbiting. You know what I'm saying? Like an oppressor. When you tell hypocrites, I ain't gonna go through them because we you know what I'm saying, but I'm saying some things are supposed to be talked about, and it's not for the malicious intent. It's for the purposes of enjoining some good and forbidding some evil. You understand? So, check this one out right here. This is a beauty. Now, them two punishments in the grave, but look at this, what you can get a major punishment for. Reading the Quran. And like the full hadith says, reading the Quran at night and then going to bed. And then when you wake up, you don't even act in accordance with the Quran. But see, it could be in reverse. Reading the Quran when you wake up and then you leave the house and you don't act in accordance with it. So reading the Quran and not acting in accordance with it is crazy work. Reading the Quran and not acting in accordance with it is crazy work, bruh. You can get punishments from that. Now these is detailed and specific punishments. Imagine reading the Quran and not even knowing how to act in accordance with it. Imagine reading the Quran and not even having a clear understanding of it, but you're trying to pass your understanding on to other people, right? Y'all ignore that, man. I'm in the hood, man. So it's like 2 in the morning. It's the weekend, man. So people doing what they do. You heard? So right here in D, dealing in the rip. Some of the punishments, man, that come with that is ridiculous. Committing zina. Adulterers, and adulteresses. The male and females that commit adultery. Not paying zakat. Right? And then look at this. Telling a lie that becomes widespread. Right? This right here can also fall under tale carrying. Telling a lie that becomes widespread. These leads to punishments in the grave, in the bardersop, in the hellfire. And this is an example of one of the punishments. Listen to this right here. It referred to, okay, I gotta put this in. I gotta throw this little sidebar in. Do you know that when we pass away, we go back to the original size of Adam, alayhi salam? So we're going to go back to being huge people, right? We're going to go back to that original size, huge. And one of the reasons is like the punishment, the pain is going to be increased. So with this example of one of the punishments that people are going to receive, some real big iron scissors. They're going to cut both of your lips off. And one of the scariest things that they say about some of the punishments, right? You're not going to be able to die. You're not going to pass out. Like in life, you could go through some punishment and it shock the body so much you'll pass out. You won't feel anything. Not in the hereafter, baby. And you're not going to die. You're not going to die. Continuous. So your lips going to get cut off. And this is why. Because the individuals who get their lips cut off is because they cause fitna with their words and speech. Wrong color, but it's good. Hey, they tail carry. Also, another thing that could be considered as tail carrying, if somebody tell you something from the form of gossip, and you just run around and tell it to everybody that you know, everybody that you come across, but you never even investigated it to see if it was true or not. Or you knew that it wasn't true, or you knew that it was a possibility that it wasn't true, but you went and told everybody anyway because you had malicious intent, because finally you had something bad to say about the person that the story was about. And it could be a lie the whole entire time. And like generally, like when you see the descriptions of some of the punishments, when the lips get cut off, they're going to grow back and get cut off again. That's how a lot of the punishments be. After the punishment come through, then it's like a quick healing, then it's on again. So, the ones who gonna punish you in the grave, and I'm gonna bust out a couple of hadiths. So we're gonna start with Bukhari. Hadith 1374. Or possibly we'll do 1338. They basically the same. Matter of fact, we'll just do 1374 for the sake of time. So look, alhamdulillah, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Allah's slave is put in his grave and his companions return and he even hears their footsteps, right? It do say return, but basically this is when they're, what his meaning is, after your janazah, when they're walking away to leave. Once they start walking away to leave, that's when you're going to wake up and become coherent. And you're going to hear their footsteps of them walking away. Right? Your companions, your family, your wives, right? This when that reality kick in. So you're going to hear their footsteps. While you're hearing the footsteps, two angels will come to them and they're going to make them sit up. So they're going to sit you up in the grave, right? And ask, what did you used to say about this man, Muhammad? I.e., who is your prophet? Now let's show the beauty of this, because we think we gonna be able to do. It sounds like an easy question on it. I mean, that was Prophet Muhammad, right? So what did you say about this man, Muhammad? Then as regards a faithful believer, he will say, I testify that he is Allah's slave and messenger. Then they will say to him, look at your place in the hellfire. Allah has changed for you a place in paradise instead of it. So it's going to let you see where you would have ended up in the hellfire, right? So he will see both places. Qatada said we were informed that the grave would be made spacious. So at that point, your grave will become real spacious. You have some narrations that say, basically, but it depends. These different things, it depends from the understanding I have at this point. But it can get to the point where it's as spacious as far as the eyes can see. So as far as you can see to the right, that's how spacious it'll be. As far as you can see up, that's how spacious it's going to be. Okay? So then it says, then Qatada went back to the narration of Anas, who said, whereas a hypocrite or a disbeliever will be asked, what did you used to say about this man? He will reply, I don't know. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, you have people who say the Prophet Muhammad is a prophet, but we don't believe in hadiths. We only believe in the Quran. Don't you realize you're neglecting the Rasul's prophethood? Because keep in mind, there's a difference between a prophet and a messenger. Okay? So when you talk like that, you're actually rejecting his prophethood. Another example. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through numerous hadith and athar and what people seen with their own eyes, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam prayed like this. You know, he commanded people in your fard salats. and your obligatory prayers to pray like this, right? You know, long as you know all your permissible positions. And then other people say, well, Imam such and such said to pray this way. So you follow them in prayer and not your prophet. See, a lot of people don't understand in some of these issues you can possibly fall in rejecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophethood. And this is in a lot of things. The Rasul said wudu this way. Or like you have particular individuals who say stuff like, well, I pray in accordance with the Quran. I make wudu in accordance with the Quran. Like some that I done heard. I get my prayer times from the Quran. Fajr is just when you wake up. You know, different things like that. These things is rejecting the Rasul's prophethood. So when you get more in depth in the questions in the grave, other than what do you say about this person, if you say that he's your prophet, he's Allah's prophet and messenger, now you have to explain why you didn't follow him and you followed everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Just like particular individuals, when you talk to them about the deen, and you have to have some gentleness and process it and give it to them a little bit at a time and sit down and say, okay, like look, for the guys, all right, look, we've been discussing the deen. You done told me 10 things that you've been told by other people. And these 10 things that you've been holding on dearly to your deen. And now all 10 things have been refuted with Quran and Sunnah. Oh man, if you're going to do something, man, just do it this way. That ain't what the Rasulullah taught. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what type of accord you put that type of person on, oh man, they the hawk. They love the deen. Man, they was the most fearful I ever seen. You know what I'm saying? But okay, might have been. But that what they told you goes against what you think of them, baby. You don't want to have so much of that on you because that stuff didn't come from Prophet Muhammad. It didn't come from Allah and his Prophet. So how you gonna say that the Rasulullah is your Prophet? I'm a Sunni Muslim, man. I follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. But like I always say, you don't study no hadiths. All this stuff you doing, you don't know where that stuff came from. Dangerous, man. So that's why I say a lot of things that's left out. When it comes to the punishments in the grave or the questions in the grave, you're only going to be able to answer them based off how you lived. Continuing on, right? So they not going to even know how to answer it. They just going to say, I said whatever the people said. You know, yeah, he was a prophet, but we don't believe in hadiths. Hadith superstition. We only need the Quran. When a prophet said that Allah was above his thrones and he agreed with the slave woman, that was a mistake. Because Allah can't move. You understand? Although Allah say that's where he's at in the Quran, so the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the slave girl, they agreeing with what the Quran say. Oh man, that's just dumb hadiths. We reject that. You may say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is your prophet, but it sure ain't got nothing to do with your lifestyle. Continuing on, right? So, and this is the hypocrites and the disbelievers when they ask that, right? So then they will say to them, so you don't know, neither did you know, nor did you take the guidance by following the Quran. So you ain't even took the guidance, right? Then Munkar and Nakir, keep in mind, these are the two angels that set them up. So the angels is asking them these questions. So then the angels would hit the person with iron hammers until he will make such a scream, until they make such a scream that everything near, as far as animals, everything is going to hear it except for jinn and humans. And sometimes when I go to the graveyards, when somebody pass away, when we walk away, wallahi, I like to look at the animals. And sometimes, like as we starting to walk away and then a few moments sit in, next thing you know, it might be a whole bunch of birds in the tree and they'll just take off. Wallahi, one time we was at the cemeteries, we was leaving because it be certain Muslims, man, when they was close to me, and I be chopping it up with them, man, giving them that deen, I be like, man, look, any animals you see around, a rabbit, anything, just watch how they react in a few minutes. And I remember one time, wallahi, it was like a deer in the cemetery, because the deer was kind of close, the cemetery kind of close to some woods, and a deer was in the cemetery, right? And as the birds, I was like, wait to see if you see some birds just take off like something startled them. So the birds started flying and then a deer just jumped like this. It wasn't even nothing around it. So for me, because I believe this, I believe they heard them screams from getting hit with that hammer. So when you come to these other hadiths in Tirmidhi and Daleel, it basically give a little bit more detail of this same hadith. So one of the details that's left out in this one is the hammer is so big that it says if the hammer, because Munkar and Nakir is huge, and you're going to go back to the size you was as like Adam alayhi salam. The hammer is so big that if it hit a mountain, the whole mountain will turn into dust, not just crumble. So that gives you some insight. The hammer is going to be bigger than your whole body, even though you big. So one blow from the hammer is going to completely crush everything, all your bones, everything in one blow. And you're going to feel all that. You're going to feel it all. Then you're going to form back up, and then you're going to go to the next question. Right? So that's why I got a little bit of detail. So in the other one, when it asks you, who is your Lord? I want to use Quran ayahs. So I picked out a couple of Quran ayahs because this is something that need to be detailed. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm checking the time, Sheikh. I got y'all, alhamdulillah. So we're going to go to 2543 because this is something that needs to be explained. So when it's saying, who is your Lord? Now keep in mind, we're dealing with Munkar and Nakir. I just read y'all a hadith where Munkar and Nakir is going to sit you up. And the other ones that give hadiths about Munkar and Nakir, like they so black and bluish, like they're extremely dark. You know what I'm saying? And then it even says that like the ones who, I don't know how I skipped protecting yourself from urine. I just realized I underlined it, but I didn't say it. I don't think I did. So let me touch that real quick. Protecting yourself from urine. A lot of men or people who have people run in and out of their house and they stand and use the bathroom, they call it feminine, call whatever you want, and some of that splash out the toilet. This is why it's from the Sunnah. Now the Rasulullah, In some cases, he stood up and urinated. But in his home, he sat down and urinated so that the splash and different things from it didn't splash up on his clothes or didn't splash on the floor. Because in the hadith, basically, the Rasul is with some companions. And the Rasul is able to hear two people being punished in the grave severely. Severely. Where he even states to them, if y'all was able to see and hear what's going on with them, y'all will stop burying y'all relatives. Y'all won't even bury anybody. So he said one of them is being severely beaten, a constant beating, because they tail carry with malicious intent. And then the other one is being beaten because they didn't protect their clothes from urine. Some of them just used the bathroom on themselves. They didn't protect their clothes from urine. So he put a real green, so like a green leaf on both of their graves and made a dua and was like, he wanted Allah to not punish them until the leaf basically dried up and turned green. And he wasn't even sure it was going to be answered, but it was just like within hopes. I'm hoping that Allah eased their punishment until these leaves basically dry up, until they no longer green or whatever. So protecting your clothes from urine, men, they use the restroom, it may, splash out on the floor, they may miss the toilet, somebody else might come in there, although it's a little dry, in some socks, now they step on it, they get their socks on it, might not even be totally clear of it. And that's just, and that's why when I was talking about these Muslims who be having parties at their house and stuff, people going all in the bathroom, standing up, urinating all in their bathroom, flushing it, it's splashing, urine all on the floor, all on their toilet, splashing up possibly on their pants. You can get punished in the grave for that, man. You gotta protect your clothes from urine. You know what I'm saying? Not doing proper type of istinja or istinma and different stuff, man. Protecting your clothes from urine, not only just urine, like feces and everything. That's serious business, man. Alright, so Surah 25:43. Just to bring some explanation to this, right? So in Surah 25:43, it says, so 43, where it says to the Rasul, have you, O Prophet, have you seen the one who takes their ilah, their Lord, as their own vain desires? Have you seen the one that takes their desires as their God, as their Lord? See, sometimes you could say, hey, I believe in Allah, but money is your Lord. Attention is your Lord. The opposite sex is your Lord. Because all these things is attached to your desires. You will put what Allah say. You will ignore Allah's commandments and disobey Allah for something that your heart desires. So so then when he asked them, have you seen the ones who take their desires for their Lord? And then they say, would you then be a wakil over them? Huh? What? Or do you think that most of them hear or understand they are only like cattle? Nay, they are even further astray from the path. So you have to see that. When you have to be conscious of this in your deen. Not judging Muslims, but when you sitting around Muslims and their desire is everything else except for Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah is giving you the jewels right there. He's saying to the Rasul, is you gonna sit around and be a wakil for these people? You know what I'm saying? Is you gonna be a watcher of their affairs? You know what I'm saying? Or perhaps you think that most of them can't hear or understand. Or perhaps you think most of them hear and understand. Allah Azza wa Jal is sitting up telling you, man, this deen, what you trying to talk to them are good, they can't hear it. On an aspect of, they hear what you're saying, but they can't comprehend it. Or they can't understand it. Then Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, they like cattle. As a matter of fact, they even further astray from the path of Allah. But see, some people would be looking them dead in their face. But they tell themselves something different, man. But the point is, when they ask themselves in that question in the grave, who is your Lord? They think they're going to be able to say, Allah Azza wa Jal. That ain't who your Lord was. Your Lord was money. Your Lord was the opposite sex. Your Lord was attention from the people. If you don't live in accordance with that, you're going to answer based off of how you lived. You understand? See, you ain't gonna, that's why, like, with us, like I say, because we do it. When we talk and we answer questions, we answer with taqwa. We don't just try to give what sounds like the right answer. So a lot of us think we're going to be able to just say, oh man, that's easy, man. Allah's my Lord. Nah. Allah was your God, but not your Lord. Your Lord was your desires. Your vain desires. Allah separating it, right? Have you seen the ones who take their vain desires as their Lord, as their God? But this is what we got to mention. As soon as you can't answer that in accordance with how you live, Munkar and Nakir, whack, gonna bust that hammer out. Gonna bust that hammer out. Same with this, who is your prophet? Allah was your Lord, huh? Why you ain't quit dealing with intoxicants then? You chose intoxicants, pills, weed, cigarettes. A lot of people don't think cigarettes is an intoxicant. But for anybody who ever smoked a cigarette in the beginning, you got a buzz off of it. You got intoxicated. Or if you actually used to drink or anything like that and you had a buzz, or you smoked and it wasn't as fire as you wanted it to, or it was going down, you smoked a cigarette to bring it up. Or sometimes you may have drunk too much and smoked a cigarette and you wanted that cigarette buzz to come down because you was too gone. Now once you smoke so much, you might need to smoke 3-4 cigarettes to get that. But anybody who's ever smoked a first cigarette, they know that cigarettes is an intoxicant. Okay? Why you ain't getting none of that up? That was your Lord. You did what you could have do to go. You didn't go earn some extra money that you could give zakat. You want to earn some extra money so you can get a cocaine high, so you can get some heroin up your nose. You understand? That stuff was your Lord. Alright, let me rush. Let me rush. Let me rush. We about done anyway. So we're gonna do Surah 45, ayat number 23. Where it says again, have you seen him? Or have you seen the ones who take their own lust, vain desires, as their Lord? Huh? Huh? As their God. And Allah knowingly, listen what it say. And Allah knowingly left them astray. Whew. Do y'all not read that when you read in the Quran? Allah knowingly left them astray. And then Allah sealed up their hearing, sealed up their hearts, and put a cover on their sights. Who then will guide them after Allah? And then you get hit with that stern warning. Will you not then remember? Will you not then remember? Huh? Will you not then remember? Come on, man. Come on, man. Do you hear that? Allah Azza wa Jal is sitting up saying, in one ayat, the ones that's like that, they're worse than cattle. They astray. So then Allah giving it to you again. Allah knowingly left them astray. Who gonna guide them after that? It ain't nothing you could do about them being astray, baby. Remember that. Like it said, like Allah said, will you not then remember? Will you not then be mindful? So it's breaking it down for you. You might think you're going to say Allah. Right? But Allah is sitting up saying, it's going to be Muslims, it's going to be hypocrites, it's going to be munafiqs that's going to be taking they desires, they lust, depending on what that desire was. Money, fame. Yeah, baby. You may think you're going to say Allah, but however you lived, hammer time, baby. Hammer time. Right? So that's just a touch on that. So then you have right here, what was your deen? What was your religion? So for the ones who remember the homework from the last session, right? What you have here, remember we said, what I told y'all, to look in it to see what's the difference between deen and religion, right? What's the difference between deen and religion? Okay, so now that we in here, you're going to be asked, what is your deen, your religion? So with deen is a complete way of life that involves religion and living that religion out. Religion is a belief system that's attached to a deity. You know what I'm saying? Some people, deity is the devil. Some people worship the devil. So it's a belief system that's attached to a deity, and activities associated with that religion, such as praying, fasting, and worship, ibadah. You know, some people believe in stuff like witchcraft, where they're witches, and whatever their deity is, and they have certain rituals and different things. You understand? So this right here is giving you that jewel. So when you ask, what is your deen? People think they're going to be able to say, well, my deen was Islam. Oh, okay. But you only needed the Quran, huh? You ain't need no sunnah. You ain't pay no zakat. You didn't treat your neighbors a particular way. You didn't deal with the Muslims this particular way. You didn't enjoin the good and forbid the evil, because that's part of your deen. That's part of living that complete way of life out. Not just the religion aspect. You understand? There's the Quran, our religious book. There's the prophet, our religious prophet. And then we have prayer, and we have fast, and we have zakat. What about enjoying the good and forbidding the evil? Matter of fact, you was the opposite. If you ain't living the Quran and Sunnah out, but you talk about it, then it ain't your deen. It's not your way of life. It's just your religion. Okay? And if you notice, these things can put you under the category of being ignorant of Allah and His commandments. And due to your ignorance, you're disobedient, baby. You're disobedient, baby. See, an individual said to me, and this is something we got to be careful about. We have to be careful about saying wallahi to our opinions. See, some people feel like with me, like people who know me in person, and wallahi, I'm making this dua sincerely. May Allah make me better than what they think of me. But people who know me in person, in this city and in other cities, right? They talk like I got the key to fixing everything, like you the savior. You could save the Muslims, man. You're the one. And I sit down and could tell them 1,000 times, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Guidance doesn't come from me. Guidance comes from Allah Azza wa Jal. You know what I'm saying? So many people, man, if you get out there, if you get before the people, you know, forget about the ones that you've been in front of for 20 years. We're going to forget all about them. And let's just go do it with a whole new group of people. And wallahi, if you do it, it could never be destroyed. It could never be successful because you're the one. These same 20 people you talking about, forget about. I've been around them for 20 years. I've been available to them for 20 years. You saying wallahi, but the proof is in the pudding. And see, some Muslims, man, need to learn how to make istikhara, because they have these grandiose plans. See, one thing I can say is, I had a desire for that, but when I go to Allah Azza wa Jal and I make istikhara and it don't happen, I ask Allah why. And then Allah give me the answers as it go. In the beginning, you can't have this, you can't have your own masjid, you can't do this and that, you can't educate nobody. You don't even know the deen yourself. Cool, let me open up a door for me to learn. Then when I started to learn and this and that, okay, Alhamdulillah, let me get this Istikhara in and get it cracking. And then Allah started showing, slowly but surely showing me. Don't you understand? Don't you see the curse? Don't you see the punishment on these people? Don't you see these people working for the people? Don't you see them destroying everything, this, that, and the third? They destroying everything but your deen. Don't you see that these people got a problem with real Islam? Don't you see these Quran ayats that say them individuals take their own desires as their Lord, as their God? They worse than cows, boy. Matter of fact, they even further astray from the path of Allah Azza wa Jal than a cow. Cattle, plural. And then bring it right back again and say, them individuals who take their desires as a God, as their Lord, Allah knowingly left them astray. Not only do Allah know they're astray, Allah knowingly, purposely left them astray. Now, if Allah know they're astray and left them there, see, that's a jewel you got to be able to get from it. Because the beauty is this. If Allah know that you astray and choose to guide you, that's a ni'mah from Allah. If Allah chose to leave them astray and not guide them, what he say after that? Who gonna guide them after that? If Allah don't guide them, what you think you gonna do? Ain't nothing you can do, baby. Right? Then Allah caps it off and say, will you not then remember? Is you not going to stay mindful of what I just said? Me? I'm going to stay mindful. Because I've been saying this to other people for years. As they sitting around and as their eyes open and they started to see it. And in every so many years, it's still the same way. And I would just say to them, the real question that you need to ask yourself is, why are they still there? Because there's even more that goes right along the line with this. See, one proof, when you hear Allah say it once, and then Allah say it twice, that's official. And then a third time, these just the two ayahs that I chose. Two different surahs. Same subject matter. Right? There's more. But there's also the ones, like I say, Allah will leave you on the path that you chose. Until Allah drives you to the hellfire. So that he can burn you, baby. Guidance don't come from me. You can't convince me that some individuals that done had access to me, close access to me, who said the same thing, who even sat down and admitted that I helped them. But once I walk away and go do my own thing and come back a year or two later, it's like I was never around. And then Allah has a way. You know, they have some slick stuff to say. And like I say, because I know, oh, well, you know what? That's just the wrong people. But see, you saying, wallahi, that it wouldn't happen that way. How can you say, wallahi, it wouldn't be a certain way when I'm pointing out to you daily It done already happened that way. Oh, there's a million more new individuals and this and that. Okay, you go find them then. And then once you come find them, we'll go from there. Because I'm not finna chase them down. I'm not finna look for them. I'm not finna try to convince them. I'm not calling nobody to me. These are the things that we need to understand and comprehend. Because I know what Allah said. I know what His messenger said. When I see the signs on individuals, then it is what Allah said, man. No ifs, ands, buts, and maybes. I know who my Lord is. You know what I'm saying? And that's some things, man, that people need to get to understanding, man. I'm telling you, man, I hear too many people say, wallahi, about stuff that there's opinion. Like, it's getting to the point where individuals starting to say stuff like this. Man, here, man, try this burger, man. Wallahi, you gonna love it. It's gonna be the best burger you ever ate. No, it might be the best burger you ever ate, but you can't say, wallahi, it's gonna be the best burger I ever ate. You know what I'm saying? Man, how can you, anybody who's ordained and this and that, man, and this and that, they don't tell that. You ain't been paying attention, baby. People try to destroy Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It ain't a prophet that you probably could sit down and think about that they people didn't try to do them, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. So like with me, I make istikhara first. And when I make istikhara, see, Allah Azza wa Jal be showing me exactly why certain things not gonna work. And we ain't even got to throw in CI number 1, CI number 2, and these individuals running around with get out of jail free cards. We ain't got to throw in all the bid'ah and all the weirdness. Allah is everywhere and all these different twisted up weird understandings and la ilaha illallah and all these goofy practices they done picked up that mean absolutely nothing. Praying the wrong way, praying the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? I ain't went nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying, because individuals be sitting up like, man, wallahi, man, if you get up, man, and talk to the people, man, Allah, man, wallahi, man, you gonna be the greatest thing. You have the best building, you can have all this. Do you not see this community, bro? I didn't just become this yesterday. I didn't just become this yesterday. Oh, man, we could just do it all over again, man. Let's just leave everybody. We ain't gonna control who come and who show up and just who be there, who be there. Okay? When you go find them, then holler at me. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, become me. And then you ain't got to worry about me, baby. You understand? Because that's one thing, man, as Muslims, man, where we need to get this through our skull. And this us, because this how we move, right? 9 brothers, alhamdulillah tonight. When I make some plans for something, they don't go outside of me. I'm not going to sit down and make a plan and say, you know what, if I got you, and I got you, and I got you, we could be the best thing since sliced bread. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. See, experience is a beautiful teacher, boy. Experience is a beautiful teacher. You understand? See, I got a saying. And it's my saying from humility. Me personally, I would rather walk 1,000 miles than to fall off a horse 1,000 times. What's the difference in between those two? One, you actually get somewhere. The second, you just keep falling on your face talking about a mission. I done seen too many people fall off that horse. I done watched that cookie crumble. I've been the platform. I done taught people how to uphold the platform. What good did it do? You got to go find some individuals that don't put their den on the back burner for some dunya. You got to go find some people that ain't got get out of jail free cards. Like I say, when you go find them, then we'll go from there. Know what I'm saying? I've been the beginning and the end of everybody plan. Oh man, I gotta do it, get a building. I can get this building over here. I can get these kids and call old Sooner. And then Sooner could come do all the teaching, do all the educating. Although I asked him to do it, we went over something to discuss the people, but I know it hurt their feelings. So behind Sooner back, I'm going to sit down and say, yeah, man, Sooner don't need to be talking about that. So you not mad at me for calling him. But Sooner only finna come get some barricades and be out. Not finna sit up around this goofiness. Know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, man. 20 years, B. 20 years, kid. This been done and been tore up, been done, been tore up, been done, been tore up. I'm not the answer. Because I know what Allah Azza wa Jal says. If I see some people off the path, not from judgment, I make istikhara. You gotta go make istikhara and see what Allah put in front of you, man, before you start saying wallahi about stuff. That's your opinion. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous, kid. But just to bring that in, gotta know your deen, man. Quran ayats, man, about who your Lord is. Some people Lord is stupidity, kid. Look, you can word it like this. And I'm not changing the Quran, so I'm not saying this is from the Quran. But imagine this. Hey, have you seen the ones who take stupidity as their Lord? How you gonna guide somebody that's choosing stupidity over deen? It's a saying, if I'm not mistaken, by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawzi, and I'm finna wrap it up. He said, foolish is the one that take poison over honey. Foolish is the one that takes poison over honey. Let that soak in, man. I'm going to read another short Quran ayat, because I'm going to wrap it up. And we'll continue with what we're doing. But for YouTube, you know, I'm going to wrap it up. So, these some serious ayats, man. Let's do 9:35. Some of the short ones. Real quick, so we could do our praying, man. 9:35. And this just to discuss some of the punishments that's listed in the Quran, right? When you go to 9:35, right? Look at this. This is a beautiful one. So we're going to touch a little bit of 9:34. O you who believe, verily there are many rabbis. There are many Christians and monks, religious leaders basically, right? Who devour the wealth of mankind in falsehood and hinder men from the way of Allah. Now, in this day and time, see, at this time when it was revealed, Muslims wasn't in that category. But right now, you have people who pose as religious leaders just to make sure you can't learn nothing. You got people who coming up with different things and scams to steal from orphans and Muslim orphans, dupe the people, let them stand on the shoulders of the people to look great while they stealing paper. Riba. But look what it say. And those who hoard up wealth, the money, the cot of which has not been paid, and they don't even spend in the way of Allah. When you see them, announce unto them a painful torment. Boy, if you do that right now, boy, you the worst. Because me, I read that, cool. If it comes to that, that's what I'm on. Even if I gotta stand in the mirror and say it to myself. Now 35, the one that I want. So on a day when all that money, right, and all the zakat that you didn't pay, all that money you wasted stuff on, and this is like trinkets all in the house, all that, look what it say. All that is going to be put up in a big pile so you can see how much it is. And then it's going to be turned into coins. And then it says it's going to be heated up in the fire of hell. So it's going to be heated up with the hellfire. And it will be taken, and they're going to put it on your forehead, on your flanks and your back. So we just going to say a $50, a big 50-cent dollar. Imagine somebody putting that mug in over some fire until it's orange hot, and then putting it on your forehead. And while that one burning your forehead up, they took another one, put it on your back. That's what's going to happen with all the money and stuff that you wasting. So somebody will punish me. This is your not paying zakat. This is dealing in your riba. Quran al-Kareem. We'll do one more. Yeah, we'll do one more. Inshallah. 1829. Maybe two. Right? Now, remember when we was referring to a dhalim in your major sins, the last lessons, how your minor sins could turn into a major sin because you could end up turning into a dhalimun. You could end up being from the dhalimun. And how Allah doesn't love a dhalim. Right? Allah doesn't guide a dhalim. So check this out. and say, the truth is from your Lord, then whosoever wills, let him believe, and whosoever wills, let him disbelieve. Verily, we have prepared for the Daleel moon, right? Wrongdoers, evildoers, polytheists, people with multiple beliefs, right? We have prepared and say, the truth is from your Lord. Then whosoever wills, let him believe. And whosoever wills, let them disbelieve. Verily, we have prepared for the Daleel moon of fire, whose walls will be surrounding them. So you're going to be in, the fire is going to be surrounding them, right? And if they ask for help, they will be granted water like boiling oil that will scald their faces. Terrible is this drink, and an evil mortafak, right? A dwelling resting place. Imagine that punishment, man, for falling into becoming a zalim, a wrongdoer, an evildoer. A lot of things fall into this, and minor sins can lead to that. We got a minute for one more. We got a minute for one more. Okay. YouTube, y'all can always stop it when y'all done listening. If you made it this far, the brothers want one more. We'll do 44. We'll do 44. 44, 43, because there's a couple of ayats. Okay, let's take a look. Check this out, though. Alhamdulillah. So these punishments, and I'm touching these for the people who still have issues with hadiths, although they feel like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is their prophet, right? So check this one out right here. Surely the tree of Zakum, the fruit from this tree, which this is a tree that grows in the depths of hell, which is, you can see where it's mentioned in Surah 37, ayat like number 62 to like 65, right? Will be the food of the sinners, the evildoers, and it will be like boiling oil. It will boil in their bellies like the boiling of scalding water, right? And then it will be said, seize them and drag them into the midst of a blazing fire. Then pour over their heads the torment of boiling, scalding water. See, scalding water is hotter than boiling water, right? And then it will be said to them, taste you this. Verily you were pretending to be. You were pretending to be righteous and generous. Huh? Verily, this is that whereof you used to doubt that this would happen. That's why it's referred to as the reality. You know it's a reality now. You know it's a reality now. So then look at this. Alright. We can say this last one. We can say this last one. Surah 22. Ayah number 18. Right? Starting at ayah number 18. Do you not see that to Allah? Excuse me. Do you not see that whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars and the mountain and the trees, right? All moving creatures, do you not see that they all prostrate themselves to Allah? But there are many men, there are people from amongst mankind on whom the punishment is justified. And whomsoever Allah disgraces, whoever Allah disgraces, none can honor them. Verily, Allah does what He wills, right? These two opponents, right? These two opposing groups that disagree about their Lord, as for the disbelievers, garments of fire will be cut out for them, and boiling water will be poured over their heads, right? With it, it will melt away all of their skins and their belly. Can you imagine wearing a garment of fire? And then it's going to melt away your belly and all of your skin. And then big iron hooks, right? Real big iron hooks are going to punish you, right? They await them, right? Every time they seek to get away, every time they try to run away and escape from hell, from the anguish, they will be driven back in. And it was said to them, taste the torment of burning. Alright, that's my last alarm, so y'all know what that means. Time to get them prayers in, man. Tahajjud, Qiyam al-Layl. So I'm about to go ahead and end it. Do what I gotta do. That was the last one anyway. So we just in time, man. So may Allah Azza wa Jal protect us all from this, and allow and raise us up in the ranks in this life and the next, and be mindful of our deen, and want to grow into implementation, man, and really know what's to this deen, because if you're not careful, you will not be able to answer those questions in the grave. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us all from that. And I'm not doing that as in that bid'ah stuff they do. And you want to avoid these punishments, man, in the grave. Just getting hit with the hammer. That should be enough. So, Wa'antum fa jazakallah khair. So, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Any mistakes I made came from myself and the shaitan. Anything that I said was correct came from Allah Azza wa Jal al-Muqtadir wal Alim.